Iranian media outlets have refuted social media reports, claiming that an explosion in the city of Bandar Abbas targeted a commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, Navy. A semi-official news agency stated that the social media reports were entirely false, denying rumors that had circulated online for several hours. The agency also dismissed claims regarding the assassination of an IRGC Navy commander, specifically Brigadier General Ali Raja Tangsiri. This indicates the level of detail in the allegations that spread on social media during the incident. Iranian media initially reported an explosion in a residential building, with the city's fire chief later attributing it to a gas leak. The incident occurred on Saturday in the Iranian coastal city of Bandar Abbas. Iranian media reported that the incident was under investigation, but provided no further details. A U.S. official stated that the explosion was not related to U.S. military actions. Two Israeli officials confirmed that Israel was not involved in the explosion. These denials address online speculation, but do not explain the cause of the blast. The investigation by Iranian authorities is ongoing. Iranian media reported that one child died and 14 people were injured in the explosion. International reports also confirmed at least one fatality and 14 casualties. Emergency services responded to the scene, while the fire chief attributed the explosion to a gas leak. Iranian media indicated that an investigation was still underway. This explanation emerged after initial uncertainty about the cause of the blast. The sequence of events illustrates how official explanations developed as the situation unfolded. Iranian media described significant damage, though details varied regarding the number of affected floors. Footage showed severe structural damage. The explosion destroyed 2 floors, collapsed the building's facade, and damaged nearby shops. Images broadcast on Iranian state media depicted torn walls, exposed interiors facing the street, and debris scattered on the road. Visual evidence suggests a powerful blast. Several vehicles on the boulevard were also affected. Meanwhile, in the southwestern Khuzestan province, 4 people died in a gas explosion that also occurred on Saturday in the Kian neighborhood of Ahvaz. According to Iranian state media, this separate incident was characterized as gas-related from the outset. In total, at least 5 people died, and over 20 were injured in the 2 explosions that occurred in Iran. The circumstances and causes of both blasts continue to be investigated by Iranian authorities. The explosion in Bandar Abbas and another attributed to gas leaks on the same day drew public attention, even though such incidents are not uncommon in the region. The timing, amid heightened regional tensions, naturally led to online speculation. Rumors about the assassination of Brigadier General Ali Raja Tangsiri, commander of the IRGC Navy, included detailed claims that circulated on social media. However, reports of the IRGC Navy commander's death in the port were entirely false. The denial was issued swiftly and decisively. The spread of assassination rumors during periods of tension reflects the information environment in the region, where unverified claims propagate rapidly and official statements struggle to catch up. The IRGC reports directly to Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, making any allegations concerning IRGC commanders significant for regional analysis. The port of Bandar Abbas, located in the Strait of Hormuz, is a critical waterway between Iran and Oman, through which approximately 1/5 of the world's seaborne oil traffic passes. The city's strategic location makes any incident there significant for regional observers. Bandar Abbas serves as a major commercial and naval hub for Iran, handling a substantial portion of the country's maritime trade. The city also hosts Iranian naval facilities, enhancing its importance amid current tensions. The fact that the explosion occurred in a civilian area, a residential building rather than a military installation, is consistent with the gas leak explanation. Military or strategic targets are typically located in different areas. The Iranian president accused leaders in the US, Israel, and Europe of inciting unrest, claiming that these leaders exploit Iran's economic problems and provide means to destabilize the nation. The accusation came amid ongoing tensions between Iran and the US, as well as a significant US military buildup in the region. The president's statement positions external actors as responsible for Iran's difficulties. The official stance of the Iranian government, blaming external forces rather than internal grievances for unrest, aligns with long-standing official rhetoric. Western governments and human rights organizations describe the protests differently. Human rights groups report on the situation in Iran with estimates that differ significantly from official Iranian figures. One human rights group estimated the death toll at approximately 6,500 people, a figure that cannot be independently verified. US President Donald Trump initially threatened military force against Iran in response to reports of actions against protesters. The harsh crackdown drew international attention and criticism. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi stated that Iran has no specific plans for meetings or negotiations with the US regarding its nuclear program. This stance suggests that a diplomatic resolution may not be imminent. Iran announced that the IRGC would conduct two-day live-fire exercises in the Strait of Hormuz. The exercises add an element of military activity to the region. U.S. Central Command warned Iran that it would not tolerate actions in the strait deemed unsafe for U.S. forces. The command urged the IRGC to avoid dangerous and escalatory behavior. The Strait of Hormuz is a vital waterway through which about 1/5 of the world's seaborne oil traffic passes. This makes any military activity in the region highly sensitive. The combination of Iranian military exercises and U.S. warnings creates the potential for incidents. President Trump reaffirmed that the United States was deploying a large naval group towards Iran. "We have a big armada, a flotilla, call it what you want, heading to Iran right now. Even bigger than what we had off Venezuela," he stated. Trump added that he hopes for a deal, but if not, we'll see what happens. When asked about a deadline for Iran, Trump replied that they know exactly, and that he had communicated directly with Iranian officials. The mention of a deadline adds urgency to the current standoff. Trump's comments combine military posturing with a hope for diplomatic resolution, presenting the buildup as leverage for negotiations while maintaining pressure. Trump also claimed to have prevented the hanging of 837 people in Iran, telling Iranian officials, quote, "2. However, Iran's chief prosecutor publicly denied this claim, leaving the matter disputed. Trump expressed the belief that Iran wants a deal, which contrasts with official Iranian statements about having no plans for negotiations. According to a Western source familiar with U.S.-Israeli coordination, diplomacy may no longer be the central issue, and decision-making circles have shifted to the inevitability of a military strike. However, such claims should be treated with caution, as they originate from an unnamed source and are not confirmed by official U.S. or Israeli statements. Israeli officials stated that their country was not involved in the Bandar Abbas explosion, denying involvement in that specific incident, but not a broader strategic posture. Israel is on high alert, according to an unnamed Western source. U.S. Central Command stated that U.S. forces would continue to operate professionally, defending freedom of navigation and ensuring the safety of personnel, ships, and aircraft in the Middle East. Iranian Army Chief of Staff Amir Hatami announced that Iranian forces are in full defensive and military readiness. If the enemy makes a mistake, it will undoubtedly endanger its security, the security of the region, and the security of the Zionist regime, Hatami said, amid heightened regional tensions. Hatami rejected the possibility of destroying Iran's nuclear infrastructure. Quote 4, he emphasized, "These statements align with the official position of the Iranian army during the current crisis, highlighting readiness and deterrence. Iran has no plans for meetings or negotiations with the U.S. on the nuclear program," as stated by Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi. This position indicates that a diplomatic resolution to the crisis may not be close. The statement contradicts Trump's assertion that Iran wants a deal. The gap between U.S. assessments of Iranian intentions and official Iranian statements creates uncertainty about the prospects for negotiations. Turkey offered to mediate between the U.S. and Iran after talks with Iranian officials. Regional powers are engaging with both sides, urging restraint. The possibility of achieving results through diplomatic channels depends on decisions in both capitals. The combination of military positioning and stated reluctance to negotiate creates an uncertain trajectory for events. Iranian media, U.S. officials, and Israeli representatives have issued denials regarding various rumors and claims concerning the Bandar Abbas explosion. However, none of these denials explain the true cause of the incident. The gas leak theory, put forward by the fire chief, offers one possible explanation. But the investigation is still ongoing, and it is unclear whether detailed findings will be released. For observers, the Bandar Abbas explosion is just one episode in a complex regional picture. The combination of speculation, denials, and incomplete official explanations leaves many questions unanswered. The crisis continues, with multiple simultaneous events. The Bandar Abbas explosion, planned IRGC exercises, the positioning of U.S. naval forces, and an ongoing diplomatic stalemate. Denials of various rumors and claims relate to a specific incident, but broader tensions remain. Key uncertainties include how convincing the gas leak theory will prove to be, how the IRGC exercises will proceed, whether new incidents will occur, and whether diplomatic progress is possible. Despite the stated positions of the parties, the overall trajectory of events towards escalation, de-escalation, or continued standoff remains unclear. The Bandar Abbas explosion occurs precisely within this context. Iranian media outlets, including the Fars and Tasnim news agencies, have refuted social media rumors that the explosion was aimed at an IRGC Navy commander. The semi-official Tasnim agency stated that social media reports were entirely false, denying rumors that had circulated online for several hours. The Fars agency also denied online rumors claiming that an IRGC Navy commander had been killed. These rumors specifically mentioned Brigadier General Ali Raja Tangsiri, indicating the level of detail circulating on social media during the incident. Iranian media initially reported an explosion in a residential building in the coastal city of Bandar Abbas on Saturday, with the city's fire chief later stating that the explosion was caused by a gas leak. Iranian media reported that the incident was under investigation, but provided no further details. Iranian authorities could not immediately comment on international media inquiries regarding the details of the incident. U.S. officials told the agency that the explosion was not related to U.S. military actions. Two Israeli officials told Reuters that Israel had no involvement in the explosion. These denials address online speculation, but do not explain the true cause of the blast. The investigation by Iranian authorities is ongoing, but detailed findings have not yet been released. Iranian media refuted rumors of an attack on a commander, while U.S. and Israeli officials denied their involvement in the incident. The fire chief indicated a gas leak as a possible cause, but investigators have not yet released detailed findings. The gap between speculation and confirmed information highlights the difficulties in obtaining accurate information during periods of heightened tension in the region. Many claims circulate in the information space, while official explanations remain incomplete. According to Fars news agency reports, 1 child died and 14 people were injured in the explosion. International media also reported at least 1 death and 14 casualties. Emergency response services arrived at the scene and took necessary measures, state media reported. The city's fire chief told the semi-official Tasnim agency that all residents of the building had been evacuated. Evacuation and rescue operations required the involvement of several emergency response services. Iranian media reported that 1 person died and 14 were injured in the incident. These figures are based on information provided by Iranian media and have not been independently verified. The child's death adds a tragic human element to the incident, regardless of its cause. Casualty information may be updated as more data becomes available from authorities. The fire chief stated that the explosion was caused by a gas leak, while Iranian media reported that an investigation into the circumstances of the incident was ongoing. This explanation emerged after initial uncertainty about the cause of the blast. The sequence of events demonstrates how official explanations developed as the situation unfolded. If the gas leak theory is confirmed, the explosion could be classified as a domestic accident, unrelated to broader regional tensions. However, the investigation is ongoing, according to Iranian media reports. The fire chief's statement offers one possible explanation, but investigators have yet to release detailed findings. Whether this explanation will remain convincing to all observers, considering the timing and regional context, remains to be seen as further investigation unfolds. Iranian media reported significant damage from the explosion, but provided varying details regarding the number of affected floors. Footage shown in the media displayed severe structural damage to the building. State television reported that the blast destroyed 2 floors, damaged the facade, and shattered storefronts of nearby shops. Images broadcast on Iranian state television showed torn walls, exposed interiors facing the street, and scattered debris on the road. Visual evidence suggests a significant force behind the explosion. Some local and social media accounts claimed that nearby cars and shops were also affected, although this information has not been independently confirmed. Several cars on the boulevard were reportedly damaged. On Saturday, a powerful explosion occurred in a residential building in Bandar Abbas, a major Iranian port, injuring at least 7 people. Rescue teams and firefighters arrived at the scene, evacuating residents and assisting the injured. The aftermath operation continued for several hours as teams shored up the damaged building. Meanwhile, another explosion in Avaz, Khuzestan province in the southwest, killed 4 people. Iranian state media reported that this incident was linked to a gas leak. Teams began clearing debris to rescue those trapped under the rubble. State television clarified that the Avaz explosion occurred over 1,000 kilometers north of Bandar Abbas. Both explosions, happening on the same day and attributed to gas leaks, attracted international attention. The timing, amidst heightened regional tensions, led to speculation on social media. Fars news agency and the semi-official Tasnim agency denied rumors that an IRGC Navy commander was the target of the explosion in the southern port. The spread of rumors and unverified claims reflects the complex information environment in the region. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, reporting directly to Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, is a significant force in the region, and any claims involving IRGC commanders draw attention from regional observers. The port of Bandar Abbas, located in the Strait of Hormuz, is a critical waterway through which approximately 1/5 of the world's seaborne oil traffic passes. The city is a major commercial and naval hub for Iran, making any incident there significant for regional observers. The location of the explosion in a residential building, rather than a military facility, aligns with the gas leak explanation put forth by the fire chief. However, the strategic importance of Bandar Abbas means that any major incident there attracts attention and speculation. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian accused leaders of the United States, Israel, and Europe of inciting unrest amid ongoing tensions between Iran and the US. Pezeshkian's statement aligns with the Iranian government's rhetoric, portraying unrest as externally instigated. Competing characterizations of events within Iran reflect the contested nature of information in the region. Human rights groups and Western governments have different assessments of the situation, highlighting its complexity. Tensions between Iran and the US continued to escalate amidst reports of actions against protesters. US President Donald Trump initially threatened military force against Iran, but reportedly backed down after receiving assurances regarding executions. Tensions between Iran and the US continued to mount. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghi stated that the country has no specific plans for meetings or negotiations with the US regarding its nuclear program. This statement indicates that a diplomatic resolution to the conflict may not be imminent. Meanwhile, Iran announced 2 days of live-fire exercises in the Strait of Hormuz, starting Sunday. The U.S. Central Command warned Iran that it would not tolerate actions in the strait that could be deemed unsafe for American forces. The U.S. command urged the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps to avoid dangerous and escalatory behavior, including high-speed approaches to U.S. ships and low-altitude flights with weaponry. The Strait of Hormuz is a vital waterway through which approximately 1/5 of the world's seaborne oil traffic passes. Any military activity in this region could have serious consequences. Iranian exercises and American warnings create the potential for incidents. U.S. President Trump stated that he is sending large naval forces to Iran. "We have a big armada going to Iran right now, even bigger than what we had in Venezuela," Trump said. He added that he hopes to make a deal with Iran, but did not rule out other options. Trump also claimed to have stopped the execution of 837 people in Iran, telling Iranian officials that they would pay a price nobody has ever paid. However, Iran's chief prosecutor publicly denied this claim. Trump's assessment of Iranian intentions contradicts official Iranian statements about having no plans for negotiations. According to a Western source familiar with U.S.-Israeli coordination, diplomacy may no longer be the central issue. Israeli officials denied their involvement in the Bandar Abbas explosion. However, reports indicate that Israel is on high alert. Amidst escalating tensions between Iran and the U.S., diplomatic efforts remain in question. Iranian exercises in the Strait of Hormuz and American warnings create a dangerous environment in the region. The situation remains extremely tense, and further steps by Iran and the U.S. will have serious consequences for the region and the world at large. Tensions in the Middle East continue to rise. CENTCOM emphasizes that U.S. forces will act professionally, protecting freedom of navigation and the safety of their personnel, ships, and aircraft in the region. Public statements from CENTCOM highlight rules of engagement and professional military conduct. The disconnect between official statements and reports from unnamed sources, suggesting alternative scenarios, creates uncertainty regarding the real direction of policy. Official statements should be considered paramount. Meanwhile, Iranian Army Commander Amir Hatami stated that Iranian forces are on full alert. Hatami warned that any mistake by an adversary would jeopardize their own security, as well as the security of the region and the Zionist regime. He also rejected threats to Iranian nuclear infrastructure, stressing that Iranian nuclear science and technology cannot be destroyed. Iran has no specific plans to negotiate with the US regarding its nuclear program, Foreign Minister Abbas Araghi said. This statement contradicts Trump's assertions that Iran is seeking a deal. The difference between American assessments of Iranian intentions and official Iranian statements creates uncertainty regarding the prospects for negotiations. Turkey has offered to mediate between the US and Iran. Regional powers are engaging with both sides, urging restraint. The outcome of diplomatic efforts depends on decisions in Washington and Tehran. Iranian media denied rumors of an attack on a commander, and US and Israeli officials denied their involvement in the incident. The fire chief attributed the explosion to a gas leak, but the investigation is ongoing. Various denials address specific claims, but do not explain what actually caused the explosion. The attribution of a gas leak provides one possible explanation, but investigative details have not been released. The crisis continues with multiple simultaneous events: the Bandar Abbas explosion, IRGC exercises, the positioning of US naval forces, and ongoing diplomatic stalemate. Denials from various parties do not resolve questions about the situation. Uncertainty remains as to whether the gas leak explanation will hold up, how the IRGC exercises will proceed, and whether diplomatic progress is possible. Despite stated positions, the trajectory of events towards escalation, de-escalation, or continued standoff remains unclear. The Bandar Abbas explosion occurs within this complex context.